Administrator for NOAA Fisheries. So we're just hugely invested in the work of the Seafood Nutrition Partnership at many levels. And certainly one of the things that we're very proud to sponsor is this very event. Convening people around the current state of the science, understanding what it means, figuring out how to communicate it and connect it to people. And the sessions this morning, along with other conversations and data that we've been sharing, have been so powerful to me. We already have had for many years an incredibly persuasive message around the health benefits, particularly the cardiovascular benefits of a seafood-intensive diet. And adding in this whole dimension of brain health and nutrition and psychiatry is just, to me, makes an already incredibly persuasive case just incontrovertible. And this also speaks to the important role that Seafood Nutrition Partnership plays, in particular the whole Science Council and their function of convening, pulling together, and essentially synthesizing and representing in accessible terms what that science says and how to communicate it to people. That's such a valuable role. There's no organization that does that in the United States. And it's a great pleasure for us and NOAA Fisheries to support this event, to support all of you in your work. And in our view, it is a really essential component of a national strategy to strengthen our seafood sector and to make seafood more accessible to people and to apprise people of the benefits of increasing seafood consumption in their diet. Many people have noted today, Linda mentioned the incredible effect of the pandemic. Others did in the sessions this morning on consumer attitudes towards health, towards nutrition. It also had an enormous impact on our seafood sector on a global basis. The type of supply chain disruption that followed from that pandemic has just sort of added additional disruption and perturbation. So we stepped back. We were tracking this very closely throughout the pandemic. We conducted some economic analyses of the effects of the pandemic on the seafood sector, both on a global and a national basis, and decided to step back and really look at the health of the U.S. seafood sector and pull together a national strategy designed to look at the competitiveness and the resilience of the U.S. seafood sector. So we have 4 pieces in the strategy. Some of you have already contributed to that in terms of early versions, which was built out of a lot of conversations with different components of the seafood sector, the full supply chain, with folks in different elements of our stakeholder community. And we're going to be putting this strategy out for broad public comment next month. And it has 4 pieces. And true to what we do in NOAA Fisheries is complement what it is that all of you are trying to do. And Linda just sort of hinted at this. We're going to be successful in this campaign. We already have been with the increased per capita consumption. That's coming through efforts like this. We need to continue pressing ahead. Envisioning that success, we got to think about, where is our seafood going to come from? Where is the supply going to come from? So the 2 major elements of our strategy right up front are to focus on ensuring that we are maximizing the sustainable output from our wild capture fisheries. And that's sort of core business for fisheries, for NOAA Fisheries in this country. And if you, I think a nice sort of secondary message to eat seafood is that if you purchase seafood that was harvested from a federally managed fishery, it is by definition sustainable. We define the state-of-the-art nationally in our approach to science-based management of the resource so that we can ensure the sustainability of that supply. We set the global standard for how to do that. And that's one kind of source of certainty for people who have kind of a concern in their purchasing behavior around sustainability. But no matter how well we do and how efficient we are in managing the harvesting of wild resources and importing high-quality seafood as part of that, there's just simply not enough fish in the ocean to meet demand. As Linda indicated, we're 9.5, 10 billion by mid-century. We got to think about supply. So our second goal focuses on increasing domestic production of farmed seafood products, all types: shellfish, seaweed, finfish, different parts of the country. And we have some folks up later today who are going to talk about elements of what it takes to be able to do that. Our third goal centers on international trade issues. It is a global industry. Almost all aspects of food production and both the creation of food products and the processing of them and the distributing them, it's a global market, like most things. And we need to look and make sure that we have fair, equitable trade, that we have great points of access to foreign markets. We are doing what we can do as a nation to promote very high-quality U.S.-sourced seafood, and also working with other countries to ensure that ways of harvesting are sustainable. So there's international concern with illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. We're working on across all federal agencies, as well as with our national partners, to reduce that type of activity on a global basis. So that's a big part of Goal 3. Goal 4 is around strengthening the seafood sector as a whole, and there's 3 components to that. One is looking at supply chain, infrastructure modernization. Another is looking at workforce supply, and the third, which is actually first in our list, is collaborative marketing and promotion of seafood. The very things that Linda noted in her opening remarks that Senator Wicker, who's been a big advocate, many other members of Congress as well. There's current legislation, there's language in our most recent appropriation. There's a whole draft from our Federal Advisory Committee on how we should think about and try approaching a National Seafood Council that would do this work of educating the public, marketing the health and environmental benefits of seafood on a kind of national basis, a nationally orchestrated campaign. And that's a big part of what we think needs to happen. You know, two sides of the clam, if you will, 2 sides of the coin, are growing demand, growing organic demand, benefiting the public through that, but also ensuring we have sustainable sources of long-term supply. So that's why we are in as partners in this. This is a big, I think, and very compelling national imperative. We're focusing here today on the health benefits, and a lot of people tend to think of that in individual terms. It's intrinsically good. When you look at aggregate terms, not just the social, but the economic benefits are extraordinary. The public policy need for a healthier population is just so powerful. The seafood sector is a piece of that. We've got to pull it all together so we have good, sustainable sources of supply, and then Americans know that seafood is good for their health and consume it in greater portion, as Linda very well pointed out. So I'm so pleased that the Seafood Nutrition Partnership is here doing this, coming up on 10 years with Linda's phenomenal leadership, the whole team that put on this event, and the whole community that is contributing to this effort. All of you, all the people that you're connected to, this is what we need to be able to move forward, is to connect the various groups from the harvesting side, the whole industry supply chain, all the communities involved in public health and nutrition, all the communities involved in the generation and communication of science. The Seafood Nutrition Partnership brings all that together. And I think that came forward in a big way during the pandemic with the Eat Seafood America campaign. There is no organization like this. It's very powerful. It's rooted in science, the best available information for people, and it has a networked approach to getting that out and having the types of public benefits that we've laid out. So my congratulations to Linda, to the team. I'm going to look forward to continuing on as a member of the board. I want to thank my colleague Jim Motos, who's been our board president for the last couple of years and will be stepping off. I'll have the great pleasure of stepping into his shoes in the early part of next year and continuing to work with all of you and with the SNP team on advancing the agenda that we are talking about here all day today. And Linda, I love your, it starts with ourselves message, right? And I think it really does, and I'll end on that point and just encourage everybody, as we've done here today, sorry to those who are participating virtually, but you saw the phenomenal layout that we had for lunch, a great deal of seafood, as last night, but just celebrate seafood in your life, in your communities, for pretty much all of us in our work, and take that forward. The October challenge that you put out is a good way to start. But we're all doing that already, and I think that bringing it back home and connecting to people, ultimately, that's what it's about. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. We've made enormous progress, and I want to thank, on behalf of all of NOAA, Seafood Nutrition Partnership, and all of you who are contributing to this extensive campaign. And really looking forward to the year ahead. We've got great things to accomplish. Thank you, Linda, and thanks to all of you.